our second Soulmate podcast, and we have a special guest with us, and that's Michael Silva. Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, Doug.
And it's really special because Michael has become a really good friend. He's a really tremendous actor, and we met him because he came to audition for Soulmate, the play, and we cast him as the character Phil, who is a very lovable and masculine and goofy character. And we don't want to give too much away about the play, but Michael killed it, and we just fell in love with him, and the audiences fell in love with him, and ever since then, he has not stopped at Zombie Joe's Underground, much like many of the good actors that get pulled into Zombie Joe's. Zombie keeps pulling you back and doing more and more. And so since Soulmate wrapped, what else have you done at Zombie Joe's?
I've done Roots of Darkness at the 50-hour drive-by festival, Toxic Vampire Pleasure Discotheque, and currently Modern Miss Awaken.
Right. So that's just in the last
2025. So
exactly, all 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Shannon, you got to see, you didn't see the 50 hour, right? Or did you? Gosh, I'm trying to remember.
I did see the 50 hour.
Why
I did.
I keep thinking, okay, yes, you've seen so much. Shannon is a really good friend. She comes to everything that she's not in as well. But yeah, so Shannon got to see the 50 hour. That's where it was great because I mentioned this in the first podcast. I got to step in as a director for one play. Michael got to act in another play that was directed by Charlotte Cocker, who was Chloe in the first run of Soulmate in LA, and was directed by George Vaca, who played Steve in the first iteration of Soulmate in LA. And so it's as you can tell at Zombie Joe's, it's a very tight-knit family of really talented people who do a lot of things, meaning act, direct, write, everything. Yeah, exactly. And then Michael and I got to act together in Toxic Vampire, which was a really cool, immersive show where, we played different kinds of vampires. We got to interact. Shannon came and saw that as well. And that was a lot of fun. But in any case, obviously, we really enjoy working together. And I wanted to talk about just kind of roughly what was, or maybe kind of in the beginning, how do you find out about Soulmate, or when did you, what did you think when you auditioned, and what was your experience overall? Because I think that was kind of your first theater thing in a while, or?
Yeah, so I've never done I didn't do any live shows. I did improv and, was focused on camera acting. I'm still doing that as well. But, I came to see Urban Death because a friend was in Urban Death. I had no idea what I was getting into. It said Zombie Joe's.
Don't, right?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Night of the Living Dead, the musical or play or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I went in there and I was disturbed and entertained, and I was like, okay. Then I went back for Nightmare Fuel. See another friend in that.
Yeah.
Yep. And I met Charlie there, and she said, hey, we're auditioning for Soulmate tomorrow, just a prepared comedic monologue.
Yeah.
So I actually had
Charlie is Charlotte Cocker. That's her nickname, is Charlie as well, just so to keep it
Charlotte Cocker, yes.
Yeah.
So she said have a prepared comedic monologue. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, it's the night before, but I was like, oh wait, I have one from 2 years ago. I did a monologue challenge, a Warner Brothers monologue challenge.
No way, really?
And so I showed up and I got there first and got to do the audition. It was a fun audition, and met Doug. Doug brought me on to Soulmate. Very grateful for that. I mean, it's opened a whole... Very grateful to Doug. He's a great director, great guy. I've gotten to do all these shows, meet a lot of amazing people, and there's a lot of really unique, just great people at Zombie Joe's.
Yeah. And I was going to say that... Mike, unfortunately, can't come to the New York, be in the cast in New York, but we're kind of hoping that you could drop in. Maybe, we're going to stay in touch, and if he can jump into a performance, that'd be really cool. But in any case, we're just really going to miss you. We really wanted him to come along, but it's a big commitment. You really got to jump. We're jumping out there for 7 weeks hopefully more. And so, yeah, I mean, but you give it a shot. But you got a lot of stuff going on, so that's a really good thing, right?
I'm grateful, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, I've been busy thanks to you too. So
And Shannon, I mean, I know that you know, this is Soulmate was your first experience working with really a cast at all. Period.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. And so I don't know. It's funny because Mike is one of the first people we auditioned.
Yeah.
And yeah, how was your experience? Because you went from not, you know, even being in a show or anything, and you were helping assess people during the auditions.
Yeah.
And so what did that feel like, and how was it, you know, with Mike and everything?
Yeah, totally. I feel like when we went into the audition process, I wasn't really sure. I was really astounded by how talented everyone was. I was like, oh, wow. I don't think I could have come into this with a comedic monologue. Like, I wouldn't even really know how to practice that. Though now I think I know how to practice that.
Yeah.
But then I was like, now I have no idea what's going on. You know, I'm just going to go into these auditions and see who we like, and, you know, we'll all figure it out. But Mike did a really great job.
Thanks. With Shannon, you know, for first time actor, I mean, she was singing, did choreography, memorized a ton of dialogue, and really warmed up into a really cool, trippy, funny, I can't say too much, you have to go see the play show.
Thank you, Mike.
Of course. Do you want to share? I think it's kind of funny.
I would love to share.
Okay.
I don't mind. Yeah, I have no secrets.
Well, I was going to say there was something funny about Mike's audition that he only got to experience.
It was only Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
No one else is going to get this. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. But do you want to talk about what happened there and what we were trying to do?
Yeah. So we were trying to do a chemistry test for our audition to kind of see, you know, who could play the male lead, who would play my husband, Cyrene's husband in the show. And so everybody kind of asked me like, well, maybe we can, you know, do a scenario, an improv scenario where he asks you to dance with him and see how that goes. And I was like, well, I don't really like that. Like, I kind of don't feel comfortable when people approach me. So maybe we could do this. I could approach them and we could do an improv of like, I'm a dancer and we're at a club and I'll approach you and see if you want like a lap dance. Yeah. So
that's what we did.
So that's what we did. And that was one time it was with Mike. I didn't really give him a lap dance.
It was like leading up to a lap dance. And then it was like right as it was like, all right, cut. And then, apparently it was the last one, right?
It was. Yeah. It's funny because Zombie Joe immediately jumped in and said, yeah, we can never do that again. I think just because it felt very real, meaning it just goes to show the authenticity of like, you know, your guys' acting and your commitment to the character. But it was kind of magical in that it did feel real, you know? But I think that Zombie just got a little freaked out because he's like, hey, these people don't know us. They're coming in here. It's like, you know, and it just maybe was too intimate.
I didn't take it personal.
No. I feel like we're all professionals here.
Oh, no. I didn't think twice about it. But yeah.
Well, here's the thing is that it is because, you know, you're professional and I mean, but yes, I can imagine that like someone who isn't, you know, like taking it the wrong way or doing whatever it is. So the thing is that Zombie's pretty much always right because he has all the experience. I mean, I feel like we have very little. So whenever he says something, I definitely listen because he's drawing from an experience, you know, that he's probably had before. And something I don't want to do is I don't want to repeat mistakes, especially of others that are around me that are telling me that there's a risk of repeating a mistake. But that said, it's very interesting because, as I mentioned, Zombie Joe's is a very experimental, expressive, and we do some crazy stuff there. But somehow that's the thing is that you have to take a lot of care when you're doing very risky stuff, really expressive stuff, to set the tone correctly, to set the ground rules correctly, to communicate correctly, all these things. And that takes a little time. That's not something you jump into with an audition or whatever. But in any case, I'm still glad that we had that experience, because it was Mike and it was really funny. So,
it was really funny.
Yeah. And it got you the part. So well, it wasn't that part though. We cast you for something else, but another part. But.
What you yes, good.
Yeah. Okay. but it all turned out good. I was going to say so we adjusted it, and then what did we do for the other auditions?
Yes. So for the other auditions, basically I approached them, any of the characters, and or any of the people auditioning, and asked them to dance with me. And then we would just start like a slow dance or whatever kind of dance. It was improv, so it just depended on who I asked. It
was more about kind of the interaction leading up to it too, right? So yeah, which is really great. I mean, I like reflecting on this, because I mean, this is the first time I was running auditions as well, and I mean, for all of us, I think it's just a really interesting way to try to figure out, like how can you do a chemistry test? How do you assess someone, in a very short period of time that you're going to be working with quite a bit? And to be honest, we are just embarking on that again right now, because as of a couple days ago, I posted a casting notice for New York Soulmate. We actually have to cast 5 new people out there. We only have Shannon and Sunny returning. Sunny Ratcliffe, who played Tiara in the original Soulmate, she's able to come out to New York, so she's reprising her role, which we're super excited about. And there's a newcomer to Soulmate, but someone I've worked with at Zombie Joe's quite a bit. Her name is Jackson Ivy Jane, and she will be coming in and playing the character of Chloe. That's the one that Charlotte Cocker originally played in the original run. And I am just super, super excited about that, because her and I have worked together in 2 different plays already, even though she was only here for a short term during the summer last year. But anyway, I don't want to get too mired in all the detail. All I want to say is that we're super excited to have Jackson join the cast, and because she's astounding and lives out in New York. And so she's studying out there. In any case, yeah. So jumping back into theater, or wait, had you ever done theater, or?
I never did. I mean, I did, in acting class over the years. I'd be on stage and stuff like that. But
okay.
One thing I would say, by the way, about the audition that was nice, and a lot of actors out there right now in LA can relate to this, probably New York too, is in the self-tape era since COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Just the fact that you can get in a room and audition live with people was really, I was grateful for that. So, yeah. Because, I mean, there's not a lot of those right now, except for like commercials and, but yeah.
Actually, I want to expand on that a little bit, because I want to say that just theater in general is nice for that reason. Meaning that, I don't know, I feel like, especially with fears around AI and just the way that content's created now, there seems to be a hunger for, or a true like pleasure that's found in live theater, because of the realness of it, because of the in-person nature of it. I mean, it's not the same thing as what you're talking about, I know, but it's I don't know. I'm finding that people are almost seeking out the feeling that theater gives, and sometimes not even knowing that theater can give it. And as I talk to more people I feel like are rediscovering theater just for that live realness that all our screens have taken away from our everyday lives. But I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah, well, no, it's interesting you say that, because I've been on that too. I mean. I think it really is making a research. I mean, Tarantino's doing one. Yeah. And I think by SoFi Stadium, somewhere around there, he's doing like a huge venue. And he was just talking about that on other podcasts. He was saying that, theater is where it's at right now. Yeah.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that too, it's Shannon's been a very big fan of theater, especially musicals, right? And so, it's something that we all come to in our own way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, something I want to mention here too is that when we did start making Soulmate, I'd mentioned in the first episode that Shannon really wanted to sing and perform. And later on, as we started creating Soulmate and rehearsing it, I didn't know very much about why or how, but you had shared with me that I think it was Rent that really inspired you.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? And because I want to mention that I'd never seen Rent actually at that point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. So what's funny is I actually loved musicals growing up. I would watch them, Grease, Chicago. I think I saw Cats, not the newest one, but the old one.
Would these be mostly like movie versions, or the film captures of the live productions?
Yes,
or?
the film captures of the productions.
Because in Hawaii, would you be able to see much theater? Or
I didn't really get to see too much theater. There wasn't as much traveling to the island that I lived on.
Yeah.
But we did have a local theater there called the Aloha Theater.
Oh, nice.
And I never got to participate in that. So I wanted to, but I didn't get to. I did see some shows there that I really fell in love with, like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Nice.
Yeah. So, as Doug was mentioning, I really was a fan of the music and the story of Rent, which was written by Jonathan Larson. And I was really in love with his story. It's like such a tragic story. So he's also the writer of Tick, Tick, Boom. So I know that there's like a Netflix show. Is it a show or is it a movie? I'm not really
movie.
sure.
Yeah.
It's a movie. Yeah. I haven't really seen it, but yeah, I'm very inspired by that story. I think that the story of Rent is really like the mottos of it I really live by, like no day but today is kind of like, to do what you want. You have this moment to really live. And so I really just felt the music and loved the music, and I was in love with the cast. I was in love with Idina Menzel. And so even just the story of like Idina Menzel's like rising to fame with Rent, like it started off Broadway, then it moved to Broadway, and she's done all kinds of crazy stuff. Elphaba and Wicked. She was a singer for the Frozen song that everyone loves. Yeah. So, anyways, it just really shaped my life. I mean, the character Mimi, I really fell in love with. She was a dancer, so it made me want to be a dancer. Yeah, just a lot of connections with that movie.
But it's funny because, I mean, I didn't know any of this, but it all kind of unfolded as we developed Soulmate. And what was really cool too is that some of the music that I created, there's actually a turning point where the music kind of changes, and then you were saying it sounded a lot like Rent because it could have had kind of a rock feel to it and things. But I mean, but then we watched the movie together, and I did see a lot of interesting similarities and parallels, not only to Soulmate, but also prior work that I did, a movie that I made 20 years ago that I just mentioned to Michael, that's sitting in a DVD player over because we were going to watch it one day. But in any case, it's just very mystical how, like, without really knowing it, stumbling upon this project that all these, as we develop the project, like really cool synchronicities that had to do with the past and the present and our own experiences just kept emerging, especially for me and Shannon. Was there putting you on the spot? Is there anything like that? When like anything in Soulmate that I don't know, like or any of your theater experiences that tied into any feeling that you've had before? Or any?
I mean, when I initially read it, I mean, definitely the characters, Phil and Steve. I've been around those characters. I've probably been those characters at some point. The way, at least like the dynamic that they had,
so too, it's a little comic relief too, which is good. So
I honestly, I mean, I love that, especially when everybody laughs at the same time in the audience, it brings me a lot of joy because, I know people are laughing, having a good time. It's like, it's a great feeling, so I do love that.
I would say though that what I really appreciated about Michael's contribution is that I don't know how any other directors do it because I've never directed anything, but I feel like when you're writing something, it's kind of the first draft. It's like the way I even wrote it is that I sat down and I kind of just saw this movie in my head and I just documented what was going on. So, I mean, it just kind of came to me as it probably does a lot of writers. But what I was most excited about is casting really creative, incredible people that would breathe real life into these characters. Of course, bring their own voice into it. Bring their own humor, their own experience, their own whatever it is. And so it's funny because I don't know if like directors are supposed to do this, but something that Michael really resonated with and picked up on is that, I said, hey, like please bring stuff to the character. Like what would this person say? Like try to become this character, your version of it. Don't try to read too much into what I want. And sometimes actors do say, oh, do you want this? Do you want that? And I think a lot of times I would say like, I don't know, what do I, or like, what does the character want? Right.
Yeah.
And so, I was going to say like, you just really were good at embodying the character, making it your own, and then bringing a lot of suggestions, a lot of improv, a lot of, I don't know. I really appreciated that. You really got what I wanted out of that. And it made the character and it made the play. It also set the tone for others. I feel like you were so good at it that it freed others to also be able to like embody their own characters, not think too much about like what the page said. I don't know. Do you want to speak about that at all?
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you for that, by the way. But I would say a couple things. One, I mean, for a first-time director, you were very confident, and you felt like you belonged there in the director's hat. But also, because, I'm a multi-hyphenate sometimes. I'm an actor. I think I love acting probably the most, but I'm a storyteller as well, writer, director. More on the film side, I love cinematic stuff. But, I mean, it's the same thing. If you're working with a director on a film or in a play, it's like, okay, what's the balance of, like, respecting the director's vision and trying to bring something to it. And I felt like we struck a great balance, where like I wasn't stepping on your toes and you gave me some freedom and I had a great time. So, yeah. Yeah.
Did you, I don't know, Shannon, don't you feel like Mike kind of set the tone a little bit of like how you can like bring something to the character? Did that like influence the way you played Cyrene?
I think Mike did a fantastic job at bringing, all the funny things I loved. I think with Cyrene, I really was so shy. Like I wasn't really sure how to bring it on. So it actually was a lot of Denise.
Yes. Yeah. It was Denise Devon. Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of her notes that kind of helped me shape like how I was going to bring Cyrene out.
Yeah. I'll mention that. I mentioned Denise in the first podcast as well. That's the kind of like the overall managing director at Zombie Joe's. She directs a lot of shows. She directs Urban Death, and a few others. And I mean, she's an actress herself, a writer, a director. I mean, multi-hyphenate like everyone else, but with so much experience. But yeah, just her and Zombie got to watch kind of a early incarnation of Soulmate, but not too early. I mean, we only really had a few rehearsals. There was also the fires going on during the rehearsal, so everything was very scattered. But she was able to watch a performance and give some real direct notes to everyone. And yeah, I remember she really let you be free. Like she unchained you from any expectation of what Cyrene could be. And yeah, I remember that. Like from that moment on, it became a different character. It became, I don't know, I don't want to give anything away, but just this whole layer of personality kind of came out. And I think it made the character so endearing and so, I don't know, like I said, what I'd say to Shannon is that like the audience, like you are the audience's character. Like they get to have so much fun through you. And so in any case, yeah, thank you to Denise for that.
I would say, and not to be like put like backstage, whatever, but I would say like, cause you said you were like kind of building the confidence to do it. Right. Mm-hmm. But it's like, when I would see the run throughs or when you'd hear it, it's like, oh, she's in it. She's doing her, you know what I mean? Like you were really bringing to it, so then you know, in the beginning you might have been like, you know, come backstage like, I don't know. But then it's like you really, what's the word? Like not set into it. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
You got it.
Yeah. Anything else that you'd like to talk about? Any like new projects? Anything?
Yeah. So I'm. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
I'm. You know, I created a character 7 years ago named Lenny Stellano, Hollywood PI.
Cool.
And I built a world around him, ended up writing scripts and pitching and this and that, and I had a pilot. And we finally, I had a friend, my friend Glenn Kim, he helped me produce it. And we're finally, after 7 years of this character being created, we're about a month out from the pilot being done. I don't know where it's going to go, what's going to happen. I'm just super excited to finish because I feel like it's like a culmination of everything I've learned as an artist, storyteller, actor, person. And I've really gotten to use all the tools as far as like the actors in it, the DP, the composer, the VFX artist, the editor, sound design, you know, like really going in on everything. So at the very least, I can watch it on repeat in my apartment, you know.
Yeah.
But who knows? Some people get some eyes on it. I think we're gonna do something with it.
I mean, if you put that much, like I don't know, just heart into it. I mean, that's what I think I'm finding just with art in general. I mean, the more authentic heart that you open up into it, then people are gonna see that heart and they're gonna relate to it, and you know.
Yeah, you know, I'm joking. I don't want to downplay it.
Yeah,
you know, because I really do love this character. I love the story. I love, you know, it might have a movie monster or two you might recognize, you know, it might have, you know, it's not just your typical PI story, you know, there might be a few laughs, there might be a few shootouts, there might be, you know what I mean? So, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
No, it's in there, but I'll keep it. Yeah. But thanks for asking on that. And, just doing shows at Zombie Joe's right now, doing the post on that. And,
Very cool. So with this pilot, I mean, do you have, so is it like an hour, half hour?
Right now it's a single cam half hour, but we shot it very cinematically. You know, I would say, you know, it has like, it's an homage to Hollywood as a idea, I guess, or, you know, definitely like Chinatown references and stuff like that. So yeah, half hour.
Very cool.
But it could also be a mini series or feature, and I've got, you know, a lot of stuff laid out and outlined and stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, you got to show us when it's
absolutely. No, you guys will be. Yeah, you'll be invited to the screening and everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cool. So cool.
Anything else?
Soulmate will blow your mind. I'll talk about Soulmate a little bit.
Yeah. Do you have anything about it?
I would say,
for the New York audiences, what they can expect.
Yeah, I would say I want to keep it very cryptic, but engaging. So I would say that it has a lot of relatable subject matter on like modern dating and what can go right, what can go wrong. There's some things in there you're just not going to see coming. So I can't elaborate, but I would say the score was really cool. I mean, like Doug did the score, and that was pretty epic. It has an eerie at some points, but it's also very like, so the score, I would say it has elements like synthy stuff that I really like. It has a little taste of like John Carpenter style, but not, you know, full horror or anything like that. And then, it's just got a great tone, a lot of soul to it.
Cool.
Goes right with Soulmate.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about the music, just speaking about that, because I appreciated that when Michael said that he heard kind of like notes of John Carpenter. I mean, I love John Carpenter's soundtracks, and I actually got to see him live not too long ago, which was incredible. But also when we were making Soulmate, I think during one of our performance days was the day that David Lynch had passed away. And David Lynch is like one of my absolute number one favorite artists of all time in any medium. It's funny because one time I even traveled to Philadelphia to his old college. I drove there from New York when I lived there, and because they were having an art exhibit, his visual art, like paintings and multimedia visual art. And I literally thought to myself, well, I probably won't like that because, I mean, you know, I love his films, I love other things, but it's like I can't love everything. And I was actually like mad because I'm, God damn it, I love it so much. Like, I think he's now my favorite visual artist, like painter. I'm like, how can one man, you know, be everything? But in any case, to come back to him, that day when he did pass away, and I even love the way he went out, just very unapologetically, and just, you know, said that, you know, he enjoyed his life, but we were listening to elements of the Soulmate soundtrack, and it felt like part of him was there too. I'm not saying that part of the soundtracks did kind of, they could be in a David Lynch film. I'm not saying it's as good, you know, good enough to be in there, but I mean, but I felt like his spirit was infused in Soulmate simply through my, you know, idolizing and my respect of him and his influence, obviously, on, you know, if you have these unconscious influences, right? But in any case, that was a really important moment. So thinking of David Lynch, thinking of John Carpenter, I mean, it just really was incredible to even have the thoughts associated with with Soulmate. Like, in any case, yeah, it was as an artist, but someone that gets to almost like see other people's and feel other people's experience of the media too. Then,
yeah, I mean, I'll speak on that a little bit. So from what I observed over the initial run and the extension was like, well, it was a learning experience for me too, is like every audience has its own personality, like collective personality. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, so, some nights the crowd's roaring, you know, I mean, for my scenes and some of the other scenes, but then when we talked to people afterwards, I mean, the interpretations of the plays were never really, I mean, maybe 2 people at a time would have the same idea out of like 50. Yeah. So everybody had a different interpretation of the play, which I think speaks to the intentionality of it. It's like you left it so people can, I believe at least, put their story into the story. And connect her that way. I mean, I remember there was a scene where Phil was saying something and some lady in the audience gasped. I'm like, no. I'm like, it's just a play. Relax. I'm like, wow, that one really touched her. Touched her life. Like maybe something happened in her life. Yes. You know what I mean? It's
incredible.
And then, you know, my friend Thomas and, you know, actor Thomas Kim and his girlfriend came and she was very heavily emotionally moved. And I mean, a lot of people had a different range of experiences with it, which is very, very interesting, very cool. It's like a painting, you know. It's like a living, breathing painting with music and lighting and actors and
I kind of have a theory that it's kind of like what I was saying about opening up the authenticity of art. Like if you open your heart authentically, you're channeling something emotional, and there's a secret language of art that communicates that to people, and it may strike them in their kind of emotional core as well and resonate. Now what that means, and this is kind of proven by what you're saying and what people's experience is, that it doesn't mean that directly what you feel they felt too, but just the depth of emotion that you as an artist put into the work can reach that depth of emotion in someone else. But what they feel and what they think about could be completely different than what you've intended. And that's just the beauty, I think, of art. And I think that's, I love experiencing that as when I consume art. And now I love like what that means to create that, because every person that brought a different interpretation after the play and discussed it, even if they weren't sure they were right or not. And I always said they were right, because if they felt it, they were right. But in any case, but they were sure that what they felt. I mean, there was no, in a weird way, it's like there wasn't like there weren't going to be like, oh, well, okay, maybe it was this. It's like, no, they were sure. Did you have any like experiences talking to people and?
Yeah, what were you feeling from people, hearing from people, Shannon?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Just I think that a lot of people had such different interpretations of the ending. So and that was just so interesting. Mm-hmm. They were like, some people were really sure, like this is what the ending is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really interesting, I thought.
And you didn't give them an answer.
No, I didn't. No explanation.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I think we could wrap it up, but I really want to thank Michael for coming out, and we're just leaving for New York in just a few days, and so we wanted to squeeze this in before we leave, and we hope to see you out there.
I hope to be out there.
Yeah.
I'll plan on it. You let me know, I'll be there. So.
Yeah, definitely.
And thanks for having me on, and I hope you guys have a great trip and a great run.
Yeah.
It's been a blast this
We're
year so far.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.